Freeman.
Good morning, Lilu. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. What a
You,
week.
yeah, you look fantastic.
Thank you, thank you. I feel so good. There's something that happened that I want to share with you.
I,
On
I
this,
think I think you already did. The video you sent out. I saw
I,
the video.
I want to see what you think about all this. I just want to quickly say that this is session 7 of the weight release series. And that for people that haven't been watching and I want to catch up with it, on my website, on my web TV, liloumassé.com, there is a body section in there. And under the body tab, there is the series, the weight release series. So I'm being here coached by this international weight release coach, Freeman Michaels, that wrote Weight Release, is an awesome coach. I actually want to put a little note here because I just want to make clear for everybody watching that you're actually offering the free coaching session. The first one is free, so I just want everybody to be aware of this. If you want to be coached by Freeman, you have this possibility. So
Yeah,
just
if they contact us, and I only have a certain number of those slots available. So if they're interested, by all means, contact us, and Jose will get you on my schedule.
That's awesome that you do that. I really love that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's an opportunity for me to introduce people to coaching, and a lot of times, just that first session really helps them make choices, and then it's an amazing process. Things fall into place very quickly once we get clear about this. It's this adjustment to how we want to, or how we see our lives moving forward, and I can help people with that very quickly, usually.
Well, I feel I've been blessed to have you as a coach because I had a weight uh, food breakthrough, Freeman.
It's awesome. It's really awesome. In fact, I wrote a little sentence about. Well, you tell me first of all. Tell me about the experience because I want to walk into it in your shoes. So,
Oh,
what happened? How did you come to that realization?
because I was having lunch at Karen's Raw Place, which is one of my favorite raw place, and I have to say I was a raw vegan for a year, maybe 2 years ago, and I really just love her food. Like it really, really is good food. So I decided on this day, because on Saturday I decided to have an awesome day, treat myself, be really connected to my feminine energy, and so one of the things I wanted is like I'm gonna take a book and I'm gonna go and read it and enjoy it with this at this awesome place that I love here in Chicago. So I ordered the raw plate and I was just really, really, really having such an amazing, orgasmic, experience. I just really enjoyed that food. And I was like, wow, what a connection, what a really intimate connection I have with food. I mean, this provides so much pleasure in my life. Like a big portion of pleasure, and not, I mean, I wasn't feeling guilty, especially with that kind of food. I mean, it's just like really, really good. And then I thought for a second, all of a sudden, there's like this light switch, and I thought, how about is if I did a transfer when my parents divorced, and that because I missed that love and receiving that love from them, and I stopped whatever I did on that time, but that love wasn't present for me anymore because they were divorced, they were going, right and left their own way, and I felt really lonely and isolated. And how about if in that moment I had to transfer and find a different way to love myself and receive that love, knowing that we're love beings, and there was just, there's just at some point, like it felt like, oh my God, this is actually, I just, now I put it in food, and that's how I've been loving myself, because I've been eating well and I've been putting attention in that. So each time I have been worrying or happy even to celebrate something, I go to food right away. And
Yeah.
and again, I'm not eating bad food, but I'm really enjoying pleasurable food, but I'm overeating clearly. And so right now I'm in the place where I can find a different way of loving myself, an alternative way, being conscious of it. And so I've noticed, Freeman, that when I have these moments of little, anxiety or stress, lately the past few days, I've really understood that it felt like, oh my God, actually, this is just a moment where I need to give myself love. It's not a moment where I need to give myself the food. It's not this was how I was operating before. Now this is different. Hang on.
Yes. Yes. No, I think it's brilliant. I love it in this respect too. The question we had for you is, how do you want to be in relationship with food? And I love it. I love the idea that food is a way of loving yourself. It's such a great perspective. And even looking back on your history, I don't know if you remember this, but way back in the beginning, I said, it's not the events in our lives that cost us. It's not the traumatic events. It's the interpretation that we take with us, and we defend and we bend and twist. And if you look at very cleanly, that little girl who recognized that this was a safe way to meet her needs, then if we release the judgment, then that was just a choice you made. And actually, this adult woman can say, wow, I can really nurture myself and love myself with food consciously.
Yeah.
Consciously.
Yeah.
Because that's the big shift, is that unconsciously it can be a bit of a train wreck, because there's all kinds of pieces that get layered in there, right? The overeating on a very real level means that you want more.
I want to feel more of the connection with
That's
myself.
That's it. So that can be an adjustment just in perspective, and that little adjustment, a minor adjustment, I always say it's a half a step to the left, and it's like our world just opens up.
Totally.
So many people are so close to their own liberation, but it's interesting because we hang on very tight to a lot of the positions. You and I have talked about the positions we take, right? And we look at it and we go, that's kind of absurd. But some part of us doesn't know how to let go of that, even though we recognize that the position we're taking doesn't serve us. So it's very possible that this could be a very big shift for you, because what I understand is you're working on unconditionally accepting and loving yourself. Yeah. And you're saying in this moment that food is an expression of self-love, but you also recognize that you want other expressions of self-love, and I'd like to support you in that.
Thank you. And also what I want to say is that then I've noticed the past days, I mean, first of all, I haven't been overeating. I've had this is a shift. And when I've been eating though, I've been really taking this as a precious moment also, and loving and enjoying even more, which is even funnier. Because then I didn't prive myself. Then I went for the dessert, frankly, the other day when I had that breakthrough. I said, I might as well test it all the way to see really about this. And what happened then is that I was having one piece, two pieces, and then I was like content. And I did probably the most calorific thing on the menu, but in the end, I ended up not finishing it. I ended up boxing it. And I ended up having it maybe, 24, 48 hours later, which I would probably not have done before because I would have obsessed about eating it.
This is my half a burrito.
It's
the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, is that I don't deprive myself. What the question for me is, what do I really need? And so, a lot of this is, what does my body really need? And then a big part of this for me personally is, what do I emotionally really need? And a lot of times what I need is support. I need comfort. I need encouragement. And so, this is a big difference. When I'm cognizant or conscious that that's the need that's driving the behavior, I can interrupt it, and I can find much more effective ways to get my needs met. That's all we're doing right now.
Yeah.
That's all you and I are doing. And I want to support you again. I said this last time, but I want to support you I marvel at the way that you've brought in all these wonderful people to support you at this incredible moment of growth. Yeah. I mean, the fact that you're launching, not about to, but I realize the date of launch hasn't happened yet, but you're launching this Juicy Living Tour.
January 2011.
And it's such an expression, Lilu. It's such an expression of your genius.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it is. And so So the fact is, and I get that it's a lot of risk, that you're collaborating. And as you've said before, you're a lone ranger, and this is a big deal for you. That you're starting to create practices and rituals, because the truth is, you're going to need them.
But you see, the good news about the food thing is that now I so get how much love I have never stopped giving myself, which
Right.
that's a big news.
Oh,
But
good.
it's always been there. It's just been directed towards food. And
Mm.
now it's just a matter of, and I want to, and I am redirecting it towards people, and reopening up and finding different ways. So um, I feel like it's been there. It's just been kind of like not misplaced, but like I'm just I'm just transferring, kind of like if it was a big ball of energy, called love. I'm transferring that in a different area of my life. So I am less afraid right now. I am
Beautiful.
opening up to, because it was already there. I was just not using it, optimally.
Well, here's a secret. It's actually all already there. In other words, every aspect of your own personal fulfillment is already there. It's just a matter of recognizing, right? Shifting
Mm-hmm.
your attention, your focus, your awareness, and directing your choices so that those, and again, I talk in terms of qualities. There's a quality in the experience, right? That you went to this raw foods restaurant with a book, with the intention to care for yourself, right?
Yeah.
With the intention to connect to the feminine side, which is this being energy, right? Versus
Yeah.
doing. See, that in and of itself, it's not one piece by itself. All of these things contribute to you having these kinds of peak experiences. And the truth is, the more we are, all of us, making conscious decisions in our lives and opening up to what's possible, all of it's a minor adjustment. None of it's major, really.
And it doesn't, like, it feels to me like I was gonna find out a bad thing about myself, and that's what I was afraid. And I think a lot of us, when we start digging, we're like, oh my god, what bad thing am I gonna find about myself? But in the end, it's a beautiful thing. It's
That's
like a
great.
beautiful, awesome thing. I haven't been destructing myself. I've been loving myself, over loving myself. Imagine how much Oprah must love herself. I mean, if she knew this, if she would get how much love she's been giving to food, to love
Yes.
herself, to love
Y-
herself.
Yeah. I love the reframe. I love the reframe because it takes the shame out of it. It takes all the judgment out of
Oh
it.
man, there's no judgment here now. It's been
So let me
all love.
let me say something. Judgment always is a misinterpretation of reality. I'm going to say that again.
Mm-hmm.
Judgment. Anytime we're judging, we're just misinterpreting. That's all it is. Compassion, which is an aspect of love, allows us to see clearly. So in a moment of judgment, if we can apply compassion, we interrupt it. It's interesting because again, I've really been enjoying the series you're doing with Gay, and I love how he says to just put a drop of love on it,
Oh, I
right?
love that.
And that's it. I mean, I say this: we apply compassion and love. Compassion is an aspect of love to any part inside of us that's hurt or triggered or scared, and it's almost immediate. It's like the minute that we intentionally go, breathe. This is a part of me I need to love. I need to honor.
But how about
Right?
if that was already a part of us that we were already loving, just didn't know how to, and could go all the way to destructing ourselves, not but really looking for the connection that we've ever lost anyway. How about if love was just there anyway, and that was just another expression of love?
I love it. I love it. I think that's fantastic. I think it's great. And I think the adjustment, the minor adjustment to just recognizing that, right? And saying, I want more opportunities to love myself. But I think what's really interesting is you found it. I want to go back because I know I said it, but and forgive me, I may repeat this more than once. Your intention was to nurture yourself, take care of yourself. It was to drop into your feminine side. You took a book with you. You ordered very consciously. You sat down with intent. You and I have been working
And
on mindful eating, which is
yeah.
again just making conscious choices. How do I want to be in relationship with this food? Things, affirmations around I want this food to be an expression of love for myself, that I want to taste it, that I want to experience it, right?
But
I
all of that really happened quite naturally as I was at the beginning of the day. You know, I had been dancing and celebrating life, and I had an interview with Don Miguel Ruiz on love. You know, that was just happened to be where I really got that we're living a dream, and you know, there's this love connection, and how much I just all of that, like all of a sudden, it's like boom, 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 boom in that moment. You know, without any I was just being in the present moment when I realized this, and I think it's a series of things that brought that, and by putting attention on it, because yeah, I was quite septic, because I've been struggling with weight, all my life. So I was like, okay, great, Freeman is a great coach, but is that really going to make a difference in the end? Because I've tried a lot of stuff. I mean, I've never, I hope, maybe this is just one of those that'll just, go by and will leave. I don't know. But this sure feels quite, I'm inside of something. I've seen something that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah, well, let me offer some things you just said. So you were dancing,
Yeah.
which is a way of embodying, right? And you've said this before, that oftentimes you can get very cerebral, and the idea of dancing is very intentional. You want to get it into your body, whatever it is, whatever the thought or the idea is, you want to embody it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you were in a very present moment state of mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that you were clear that your happiness and your fulfillment isn't out there. It isn't out there. It's in here.
Yeah.
And once those three factors were aligned, I'm not surprised that you had a very profound experience. I think that those are the factors that are going to make lots of experiences profound, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. I think it's really spectacular that you're putting your pieces together and that you're calling in all these different ways of viewing it so that you can take personal ownership. Inside of you is everything. It's everything, right?
Yeah.
And in moments, here's the thing I want to say about this, because a minute or two ago you said, I wonder if I'm not going to get the language right, but it has to do with I'll say it my way. Can I really capture this experience so that I can reproduce it again, so I can have more of this more often? Because this is, I call them perfect moments, aha moments, synchronistic moments, flow moments, where you just drop in and there's no struggle. In that moment, your experience is 100% integrated. No part of you is denied. Every part of you is there. You're fully alive and in your life experience, and everything is working, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that accurate?
Mm-hmm.
So I call this a point of reference. It's just a point of reference. And the fact that we become aware of the kinds of factors that contribute to that kind of experience. Now I'm going to say it again. You got in your body that morning. You went with the intention of being present, being in the moment, embodying. You were clear. See, this is how we set ourselves up strategically to have these kinds of moments. That's what all of the practices and the rituals and the tools are about, so that we can, so when we go off and we get confused, right, we can apply compassion and love and come right back. That's what Gay is working on. So when you go, it's about interrupting that you get triggered. That's my language. I get triggered. I'll say it in my own terms. And when I get triggered, that's where I have to have my safe zone. Where do I go? Well, the easiest place is to my breath. But then I have my walk, which is getting it in my body, by the way. I take my emotions, or I take my experience out for a walk, or I give myself a bath, or I go to meditation. I do something, or I engage with my wife. I ask for her, can you listen? Can you hear me out? I just feel like I need to get some of this out, right? And those are the three big components: that we accept every part of our experience, that we're working to love every part of our experience, and the last piece, that we find an expression that we find an expression.
So
That's what
now
your
it's
life
just
is.
finding new expressions of it.
Yeah,
But the
and
fantastic news was that it's always been there. I mean,
it's always been there.
I really thought I had disconnected myself from it. And the big news here is that I have not. And that for me is like huge because it doesn't mean I need to re-get it or reclaim it or fight for it or how do
Yes.
I do it. It's already been there. It's already been there.
And
So
the
it's easy
efforting,
now. It's
yeah,
easy now.
yeah. And the efforting sometimes can be a distraction, right? That it's really an
What?
assimilation. Though, I will say this. I want to give you credit for the hard work you've been doing. I mean, this is true.
Yeah.
I think that the fact that you're bringing in so many of the important factors for you,
Yeah.
that you're doing all of this at one time, it makes sense to me. By the way, one of the things I wanted to say as you move forward, which I'm sure you're already doing, is claiming the pieces and designing. So I designed my own process. I call it the service to self process. And really, it's my process. So I want to see the Lilu process because you have all kinds of experience. And as you start to blossom, which is really what I see you doing, right? As you start to blossom and come out in more and more ways, the genius piece about the 50% of you is in your genius, that commitment is powerful. And to support yourself in that way and come out in that way, the beauty is you have a lot of tools. You have a lot of things you can go to, resources.
Yeah.
And so I'm very interested to see your process and how you say, well, this is how Lilu works, and start to claim the pieces that are your pieces. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think I've been doing that and claiming that online and to myself and sharing the tools that really work, like gratitude really does work for me.
Perfect.
Creating intentions at the beginning of the day really work for me.
How is mindful eating working for you?
Mindful eating, I'm not. It's not like I'm putting it. Like I'm not. I'm not really. I've been doing it, since you. But now it's not. I feel like it's more. Like it's more integrated, and I think at some point when realizing this, it naturally happens. Like you really naturally, because I'm not doing it for anything else than really nurturing my body and enjoying that time with the food. So then there is the layers that were there before that are not there. So right now I'm just doing conscious eating because I do love eating. So
Perfect.
I am enjoying. I'm enjoying it when I'm doing it.
And the only reason I bring it up is this: is that I hear you and I support everything you're saying. Just note that there may be moments where, when you're triggered, right?
Yeah.
That these are important tools to have, because I'll be very honest about my process. When I get triggered, the unconscious patterning, that's that default that we just go to, starts to take over. What I am very proud of personally is that I have the ability at some point after being triggered to recognize I've been triggered so that I can breathe, so that I can choose. I use that analogy of the emergency worker. So when the roof is falling and the guns are going off, and how do they make decisions? They have these practices. They have these things that they can go to when they are, when I am out of my mind, when I am triggered. I have to have something personally that I can go to. And that's just been my experience. And it's been my experience, too, of many of my clients, is that even though they start to get this, the idea that they then have the resources, because when you get triggered and you're off and that aspect of you is driving the bus, we don't want the fear or the worry driving the bus. That's not the aspect of you. We want to know that it's a part of us, but let's keep that part in the back seat versus letting that part drive. That's my challenge personally. That's what I'm working on, is really having the wiser me, the more integrated me driving the bus, and really being able to observe, nurture, and care for the parts of me that get scared, overwhelmed, frustrated, whatever. So that those parts of me are okay, but they're not running the show.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Beautiful.
What happened is that when I saw that I was triggered, when I saw that I was gonna go for the food past days, I noticed that was actually love that I wasn't giving to myself, and then I immediately naturally breathed.
Perfect.
I breathed, like it was just okay. That's that, and then I went back into what I usually what I was doing, because I just noticed that's that. But it's true that I can see how this is really fresh, and maybe I need to put in some things that are gonna be more automatic.
Yeah, and look at.
But I want to enjoy this while
No, yes.
I don't want
Well,
to
no.
start
Okay, this
putting
is
things in
interesting.
it.
I don't want this to become work. I
Yeah.
really don't. I don't want it to become burden. I want this to become opportunity.
This
And
is big
listen,
opportunity.
let's slide over the food thing for just a minute and just open up to the idea that that it's one aspect of your experience. But again, I'm going to go back to the idea that there are all of these components that are coming together so that you can step more into your gifts, talents, and abilities, so you can express more this genius aspect of you, right?
Yeah. Because a
This
lot
is
of attention was on food. I mean, just food keeps on coming back here in this conversation. But it's just like so much attention and so much thoughts during the day were consumed by thinking of food.
so what's happening
It's
is
time consuming.
no, it's energy consuming.
It's energy consuming.
Energy
So
consuming.
now all this is being liberated and ready for something else.
This is why it's so important. Now I'm going to harp a little bit that you have some practices to support yourself, because in the moments that the aspect of you comes in, when you're triggered, it's great. Right now, it's fine. It's really okay. I want to say something. You have a lot that you're doing that is supporting you. So you're in great shape right now. I wouldn't mind. This is why I say if you were to even identify and call out some of the ways that you care and nurture for yourself as here's Li Lu's practice, here's Li Lu's practices. I don't want this to be burden, but I want to be opportunity, because again, this is a point of reference that I want you to be able to keep, that I want you to be able to go back to. And it's almost like in a moment when I'm confused, that's why you can't see it, but I have a whole bookshelf of books that I go to. And I'll tell you, when I'm triggered sometimes and I'm in that overwhelmed moment and it feels like the sky is falling Chicken Little, right? Nothing in my life is working. My kids are screaming and my wife doesn't love me. And I mean, it can go really, in my experience, in my human earth walk, I can start sliding. I go right to the bookshelf and I just look at it and I say, I need, and I have these wonderful resources to pick from. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then for my personal practices, in a day when I get triggered, I have these wonderful things established that I can do to support myself. And in my life, I have these wonderful choices on a Wednesday or a Friday that my wife and I can go do, that we can do something. I love that Gay said he and his wife dance.
I love that idea. How great is this?
I'm going to go back, and I promise one day we'll just do the preparing for a mate. But it goes back to the idea of so, again, Jasmine and I are co-creating our life together. We flip back and forth from codependent to co-creating, and that's okay. But we want to live more in our lives of co-creating, so we're really generating the qualities that fulfill us. Connection. It's one of the things that happens when my wife and I are disconnected is I begin missing her, even if we're in the same room together. And so I go very quickly to let's work through this, because the connection is so important to me. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that way of really recognizing what's really feeding us, right? What are the qualities of experience? What are the qualities of expression? And how do we, and I'm going back again, how do we create practices and rituals, so that we can embody more and more those aspects of ourselves? How do we find expressions more and more so we can express those aspects of ourselves in the world?
Right now, I
That's
want to do less and less because I'm so present to being
that,
myself. I'm so enjoy.
no, listen, that's perfect. And that's where
I've been
that's
doing so much, and I feel like the feminine energy is coming in, and just like the beingness and being so content with myself. Like, really, just I'm in this place of just loving, myself. And oh my God, I'm so present to how precious life is and how awesome and synchronistic everything is. And,
okay,
I
great.
want to
So
do less because I've been doing so much. I've
yeah, so
been
I
doing.
want to support you. I want to support you in this because I think it's really good. So part of the ritual isn't necessarily a doing.
Yeah.
It can be a surrendering. It can be allowing. I
Mm.
think what you're working on,
Mm-hmm.
and again, it's working sounds like doing, but maybe it's not,
Mm-hmm.
is allowing more of, we're calling it the feminine energy,
Yeah.
allowing more of the being opportunities.
Yeah.
So all you do is breathe in and ritualize a being experience.
Yeah.
I know we're on that fine line, and I
In
really
the
was.
dancing, you see, in the dancing, in the candles, in the allowing and surrendering and nurturing and finding new ways to nurture myself, being connected with myself, and things like that.
Okay, great. So I'm going to say this back to you. So you're finding new ways to connect yourself. You're exploring. You're nurturing. Um,
Yeah.
I can't even read my own writing. I wrote something that was really cool, but I can't see what I said. Yeah, no. This is interesting. So you're working on not working so
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
That's fine. I
Because
think
I've
that's
been a doer. I've been go go go, and it doesn't mean I'm not gonna do, but I'm so present to love right now.
beautiful.
To really, really love that. It's such a beautiful, sweet melody and sensation that that's it. I mean,
Okay.
that's there.
So let's. Um, I just want to take these little pieces and I
Yeah,
want to say them back. Exploring expressions of love.
yeah.
That's a beautiful intention. My intention is to explore expressions of love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's breathe into that for a minute. I can really, yeah, yeah. Listen, Lilu, my intention is to support you in loving every aspect of yourself and finding expression for your genius, in stepping into your greatness, in really embodying so many of these principles that we talk about, and I get it. So part of you right now is really balancing the feminine and sort of the male aspects of yourself, and I think
Enjoying the
that's
feminine. Enjoy the
enjoying.
boom boom bam ba boom 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 boom. Ding. That's that. There is no words that can describe it. I can make sounds. I can make ding 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 ding.
Okay,
I'm
I'm going to
happy
ask.
right now. I'm happy.
All right, I'm going to ask you then something that I think in this moment I'm going to enjoy the answer. And it's interesting. I'll ask it in terms of committing. So, as you commit to this process of loving yourself, can you can we agree that you're giving up the struggle with food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food
How's
is
that
my
feel?
friend.
Food is your
Food
friend.
is my ally. It's something
Fantastic.
that I need to nurture my body and that I enjoy and love. But there's no struggle with food. Right now, in this moment, I feel no
Yes.
struggle with
Yes.
food.
Yes. So I love that you're giving up the struggle. One of the
Yeah.
questions I had asked you some sessions ago is, what would your life look like if you gave up the struggle with food? And I'd love to go back and just take that clip because you said, I can't give up the struggle. Because I
I
think
was
it,
too attached because otherwise it meant giving up myself. If you put somebody on a diet or if you prive themselves of food and that was for them how they love themselves, of course they're going to go back into eating the food and they're going to feel miserable. You're priving yourself of one of the main thing that that was making you feel okay in the love. So
That's right.
I
No,
couldn't do diets before, of course not. Then I would put the weight right back in.
yeah, and well, this is the whole point. Is I say I don't want people to lose weight. If you give up something, and I don't mean just the weight, but also the patterns of behavior around food. If you give it up, and it served a valuable purpose, and you have no way of replacing it with something, you're going to gain the weight back. Of course you are. But we're really in the moment. You're at the moment in time where we're at that place where you can give up a lot of the behaviors because you're consciously replacing it with something. Yeah. And I love the idea of peeling away a lot of the shame and guilt association that, by the way, you just projected onto food.
It's all gone all of a sudden.
That is beautiful.
I mean, it's not even in a second. It's not even existent anymore. And I don't even need to go, and I don't feel guilty about anything right now.
That's fantastic. That is so. We got to go back and look at some of the early. I'm going to ask Katie to cut some clips for you because I think it's really interesting. Because there has been a consciousness shift for you. I call this the click, and I told you 2 sessions ago it's coming. Mm-hmm. I said. Or no, I told you and we talked offline. I said, your click is coming. I know it's coming. The intuitive part of me know it's coming. This is the click. You've done it. You've given up the struggle with food. Food is no longer the enemy. Food is now your friend. And that you're recognizing that it is all, you want more expressions of love, more expressions of whatever the qualities are that food represents for you. Yeah. That's fantastic.
It's so awesome. And I can see why this has happened too this way because of my dad being a chef, my parents having restaurant, being in the French culture and this and that. I mean, just like the proofs are. But anyway, that's part of the details. But what was I going to say is that you're going to love something though. I'm flying to France on Thursday.
Yes. So let's just be conscious as you're there. Watch this.
That's a big one, big test. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's interesting. Let's talk for just a half of like a short amount of time. Let's just talk about how you want to. How do you want to? Because again, we set this up by how we project consciously onto it. So I want you to create an ideal vision. Don't do working. We're just going to do it right now of how you want the experience to be. So it's almost like, here's my assessment. That this going back and forth is very interesting because in a particular way, you're working, and then you're going to France, and I'm going to say this, and maybe if this is inaccurate, you can correct me, but it feels as if it's almost like you're testing it out there, right? Because we talked about this and how you're making room for your personality, and you're negotiating that in this other culture where historically some part of you was pushed down. You didn't feel as if you could be as big as you actually are. I mean, big in personality, big in stature, big in everything. All the love that you have may have been too big, right?
A lot of love and a lot of self-expression.
So let's do it. Big love and big self-expression. What does it look like, your trip to France? Let's do it. Tell me right now. How do you want to be in this experience? What do you want to bring out in this experience? What are you bringing to this trip? What's it about for you?
I'm bringing self-expression and joy and expressing my love because this love, I've been expressing it through food. I want to express it. I want to talk. I want to feel it. I want to exchange, so that's really, and that expression of love can be in dancing and talking and in feeling. I mean, there's many ways to express it, but I wanna live those different expressions of love now because food has been my main expression of love.
So great.
And videos too. I mean, it doesn't mean that I haven't. Of course, I've been loving interviewing people and doing videos and this and that. But in my day-to-day intimacy, moments, I know that if I look at my life, the intention was on food. It just froze. It's funny. Oh no, it not froze because you just had a big smile. I thought it froze for a second.
It did, and I do have a big smile. So let's go back for 1 second because I want to talk about this moment in time. When I said the weight that you're releasing isn't actually physical weight, it's the weight of a burden, right? A thought system that had you caught in patterns of behavior that no longer serve you. I want to celebrate this moment because sitting here today, I believe you have released the burden of a thought system, a belief pattern about yourself and the world around you that had you caught, had you stuck. Is that accurate? Can we celebrate that today?
Yes, we can celebrate that together, Freeman.
Lilu, you have released the weight. You have released the weight. You have. Now the physical weight is just it's a sidebar.
Yeah.
As you love and honor yourself, as you meet your needs consciously, your eating habits, the way that you do eat, will change based on the fact that it is no longer the single source of sustenance, the single expression of love and care, that there's other things you're integrating in. And now food is taking a very beautiful, very rightful place in the middle of your life as a way of nurturing yourself and honoring yourself and perhaps even expressing yourself. You know, if you and your chef dad get together and you make a wonderful,
yes!
I don't know, souffle or something, right?
Woo! I can't wait.
That's
And
beautiful.
what's cool is that I feel like I can have every single, like, it's not a matter of, oh, this type of food I can have it and not this type. Blah 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 blah. Not
No
a problem
restrictions.
anymore. There's
No.
no restrictions. I can have my chocolate cake if I want to, and I'll have it with full love of myself. No guilt whatsoever.
I am with you, with you, with you. There are no forbidden foods. No, no, no. You can have everything that you want. The difference is conscious versus unconscious. You are now conscious of the needs. You are conscious of what you want to express. And your life has now become about how do I really strategically set myself up for success, to have everything I want in my life. This is what the coaching process is all about. It really is. It's I call it 100% responsibility, but it's responsibility, meaning the ability to respond. And part of that is we have to have compassion for ourselves so we can see ourselves accurately. You've never done anything. There's nothing wrong with you. Everything about you is lovable. It's a misinterpretation that we bought into where we began judging ourselves in the first place. It was just a misinterpretation. Every part of us is lovable. Every part of us. Lilu, I'm very proud. I really feel like, I'm here as
you are a great coach, man.
Oh,
yes.
Bless you. It's fantastic. So go to France and enjoy being this incredible, loving, joyous, dancing, wonderful Lilu, and integrate the food as a wonderful expression of your self-love.
Awesome, awesome. And we can do another session from France, maybe.
I would love to. And I still want to do the preparing for a mate. It's going to be interesting because it's so easy. 90% of the work is done. You said something.
That would be great to do it from France. I'm staying there many weeks, so we'll have time to chat from there.
You said something, and I think this was with Ram Giri, that you said that my life partner, I am my life partner, right?
Yeah.
And maybe this is my words, but I wrote, you'll never abandon or divorce any part of yourself ever again, that you'll love in the way that you want to be loved yourself. You'll demonstrate through all the ways that you care for yourself how you expect to be cared for when you do draw in a mate or even friendship or even partnership. It's the idea of honoring your needs, asking for what you want, and being 100% authentic. And I really feel, as I've watched you over the course of these last couple months and in all the work that you're doing, that it's all an expression of that. Right? So really, when I say preparing for a mate, it's not a heavy lifting thing. It is truly a minor adjustment. It's just really being clear of how you want to show up in the world so that you're interacting in a space that really fulfills you.
And just saying that so that you have that piece, because I was just reading The 5 Wishes, which is also an awesome book from Gay Hendricks. And I wrote my 5 wishes, and one of them related to relationship was... I live a life of total success because I'm enjoying a long and happy, intimate relationship with a man I adore and who adores me. I am enjoying a lifelong blossoming of passion and creativity with him.
I support you in that. Yeah, you've done a lot of heavy lifting very quickly, and now you're stepping into it. And I love the fact that the feminine side is just dwelling in it, just vibrating with it. That's very exciting to me.
Yeah. Feels
It feels
good.
like it feels like the weight has been lifted, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it
It's
does.
it's
Yeah.
so beautiful. All right, Lilu, bless you.
Thank
Awesome,
you.
awesome, awesome. We'll Jose will set something up for France, and I look forward to that. And maybe we'll do preparing for a mate over there.
Yes,